Hello and welcome to Maths with Mr Amison. In this video we get to practice how to use angles on straight lines to answer problems. If you need a recap on angles in straight lines, then please watch this video here or follow the link in the description below. We're going to start off by going through some diagrams, some statements, and I want you to think about whether it's true or false before I reveal the answer. So let's first think about this diagram here. These angles, A and B, are positioned on a straight line, and we know that angles on a straight line add up to 180. So is A plus B equals 180 in this case? Well, this is false. That's because the angles don't make the complete line. There's a gap in the angles along this line. So A plus B here does not equal 180. It is less than 180. The second diagram. Well, this is true because you can see all of these angles add together. They make a complete semicircle if you draw the angles in. Therefore, these angles do make this straight line and they add up to 180 degrees, so this is true. Question 3. For the same reasons above, you can see that this one is also true. Then they make a complete semicircle, so they make this straight line in total. Question 4. So here, you can see we make the complete semicircle, but when we have C as well, we go beyond the straight line, and therefore this is false. They do not add up to 180. Question 5. Question 5. While they do not go along this straight line, B plus C goes along this straight line. In both angles, when you draw them, make a semicircle along this line. Therefore, this is true. Question 6. Now, question 6, these angles are separate, but if you brought the lines together, move this line along to the left, then A and B would not quite make that semicircle, therefore this is false. Even though they are both angles on that straight line, really it should be angles make a straight line when you put them together, and these don't. Question 7. So here you can see that while these make a straight line, if you add this to the mix as well, it's too far, therefore it is false. Question 8. So with question 8, you can see that we're just looking at B and C. B and C, when you put the angles together, they make that semicircle. Therefore, they do make a straight line. So this is therefore true. Question 9. Question 9, you can see that these angles are both less than 90 degrees. Therefore, if you add these angles together, you're not going to get 180 degrees. Question 10. Question 10, you should be able to notice that this angle here is the same as this angle here. So if I move this line across, because these are parallel, if I move this line across, angle B fits nicely in here. Therefore we have a semicircle, so A and B together make a straight line, so they do add up to 180 degrees. Alright, so how do we use this in questions? Well, let's have a look at this one first. I'm going to show you the working out and then I'll explain it afterwards. So watch, try and follow along, pause if you need to, and then I'll explain once it's done. Okay. First thing I did was 110 plus P equals 180. That's because these two angles when you add them together, they make a semicircle, they make a straight line. Therefore, when you add these angles together, it equals 180. And then we have an equation. If I take 110 away from both sides of this equation, then I end up with P equals 180 minus 110. So therefore P will equal 70 degrees. Your turn. Have a go at finding the value of P. Pause now to have a go. So we have 100 plus P equals 180. I can take 100 away from both sides of my equation to end up with P equals 80 degrees in this case. Alright, so they do get more tricky. Have a go at these three. I'll give you the answers in a moment. Pause now. Alright, so for question 1, we have 130 plus P equals 180. We take 130 away from both sides of our equation, and we end up with P equals 50. For question 2, we also end up with P equals 50. The 60 degrees on the left here doesn't actually make any difference. This is exactly the same as question 1, which is quite nice. And for question 3, the 60 degrees is now part of this semicircle, part of the straight line. So we have 60 plus 70 plus P equals 180. So 130 plus P equals 180. We take 130 away from both sides of our equation. We end up with P equals 50 again. Again, this is the same as question 1, except the 130 is split into 60 degrees and 70 degrees. Question 4 and question 5. So for question 4, what we should do is recognise that this 240 is a straight line plus a little bit extra. So 180 plus P is equal to 240. So if we take 180 away from both sides of our equation, we end up with P equals 60 degrees. And for the final one, which is a bit trickier, we have M plus P equals 180. If I want to know what P is, I then have to subtract M from both sides of my equation. So I get P equals 180, take away M. Now, it's important to note that that does not simplify. Because we have numbers and algebra, they are not like terms, therefore you cannot combine them in adding or subtracting. Right, well thanks for listening, hope you found it useful, speak to you soon.